Lito's here. Right on time. What's up, Lito? Chris, Chaz, join the show. Wednesday show. Make sure you smash the like button. Lots to talk about regarding Milwaukee Bucks. We got Giannis trade proposals. We have talk about Dame. Pelicans on their picks. It's a lot to talk about here. Make sure you smash that like button. Let's go.
First took away. Gas for this. Get your money's worth now.
Presented by the Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. You've been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, hurt offshore. Scott Vicknair handles it all. Give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. Always fight for the win. Is always powered by 40 Energy. Oh, Henri. Blue Moon. Shout out Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Show
Yeah.
that cup there, Lito.
What's happening? What's happening with it? What's happening with it?
I forgot my John Deere hat.
Yeah.
It's in the car. What's up, guys? Make sure you smash the like button. That's not me, bro. That's not me. Chung just does that to himself. All right, let's get right into it. So that wasn't crazy.
Yeah, what's that? Damn.
That was crazy. That was kind of crazy.
Damn.
Chaz, let's start with you. A lot going on with the Milwaukee Bucks, right? So they get bounced last night in incredible fashion. If Doc Rivers gets another head coaching job, there's something clearly wrong.
Something already clearly wrong.
Yeah, there's something already clearly wrong. So in the group chat, we talked about Giannis and trade destinations and so on and so forth. And you proposed, I wanted to start off with this. You proposed this trade today as I try to find it. There it is. So just for audio listeners, so it is a 4-team trade, right? And Bucks will get Reed Shepherd, Brandon Clark, DeJounte Murray, and Jordan Hawkins, and a bunch of picks. The Rockets will acquire Giannis and Jose Alvarado. The Grizzlies acquire Jalen Green, CJ McCollum, and the Pelicans get Jabari Smith and Ja Morant. So a 4-team trade proposal with the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Rockets, and Bucks. And I wanted you to kind of elaborate why the Pelicans, why these teams would do that, because I also think we need to talk about how valuable this Bucks pick swap is going to be in 2026 and also in 2027. But go ahead, though, Chaz.
I think the reason the Bucks do it because, again, they're up against the second apron. They don't have many avenues to really build out the rest of that roster or make a competitive roster. I don't think Giannis is the guy who I don't think he has that LeBron type talent or aura about himself. I think Giannis is a guy who going to need a lot of support moving forward, especially as he enters his 30s. With Damian Lillard being hurt, no one's going to take on that contract, and they wasn't exactly thriving when Dame was playing. Also, you got Kyle Kuzma now. Bobby Portis has an option. He's probably going to get more money due to his postseason performance. Then you got Brook Lopez, who's a pending free agent. Really, that team is dead on arrival. Gary Trent Jr. is probably going to want some money given his postseason performance. That team is just dead on arrival. So Giannis has to leave at this point. Like, the writing's on the wall. So I think what's really contingent upon that pick, well, what really makes this deal go through in the Pelicans' favor the most is if the Bucks are willing to take on DeJounte Murray. And the reason why they should be willing, in my opinion, is because he's on the same timeline as Damian Lillard. If you want to guarantee that you're tanking, why not have two guys that won't even be able to play? Like, you don't get no more of a guarantee than that. While Houston does it, of course, they're beating the piss out of the Warriors right now. But I don't know if Houston necessarily considers himself a true contender. Maybe they might be 1 year away as Amen Thompson continues to take the next step. Then you have Jabari, who's really been underwhelming there. You got Reed Shepherd, who's just on the bench. You got guys like Cam Whitmore, who's just on the bench. And with Houston owning all of their own picks, it's like you're going to keep bringing newer, younger players into the building. You have to develop these guys. Tyree Eason, there's all these guys. Some of these guys are due for, to get paid, like a Jabari Smith. So they get to, bring on Giannis, who's not exactly on that timeline, but they still also have Fred VanVleet's contract. And you could trade that as a $40+ million expiring, or you can just waive him because he's a team option. You could just not pick up the option. Memphis, you get Green, blue chip player, making less money than Ja Morant. He actually plays. He's not injured. They have some money they're going to have to allocate to Jaren Jackson Jr. potentially. You got Santi, who's a restricted free agent. I don't think Bane is really a guy you're going to be able to move necessarily. I don't think he's very valuable. He's kind of, to me, he's more like a CJ. He's more valuable to that team than he would be around the league, in my opinion. So you got a guy like Bane who's probably stuck there. With Jalen Green, you kind of allow yourself to, get a little bit of cost control stuff back. He's not going to be entering the $40 million sector soon. Whereas Ja Morant, he's at $39 million. You also, if you look at the Pelicans, you get Ja Morant. It's a gamble at this point. He makes the same amount of money as Zion. If you're the Pelicans, you really can only afford to take back between 39 and 40, maybe 43 million at the most, and build out the rest of your roster. Get Jabari, who's at this point, he's a reclamation project. So I think it makes sense for all teams. And
there's a lot of obviously. Yeah, so Chris, there's obviously a lot of moving parts, and I want to talk about the future picks the Pelicans own. But for this trade, and I kind of joked about it today, like if you do land John and Jabari, and I always love talking about these hypotheticals because none of this shit ever comes to fruition, but it's fun to talk about. I think Ross had mentioned that's a very injury-prone lineup, right? With Jabari, with Ja, with Zion, shit, even with Trey being hurt as well. But if you think about it, right, just think about this lineup. You got Ja, and we got Herb, you got Trey, you got Zion, you got Jabari. You got Misi coming off the bench, Reeves coming off the bench. Chaz, I still have my first round pick.
Yeah, in theory.
Okay, so I still have my first round pick from 2025. Like, how good could that team be if, as always, the question is if they remain healthy?
Second round team, Western Conference. I think a team that you can talk about that's in contention of doing something, a competitive team, a fun team, a team that people will want to pay money to go see. If it doesn't give them anything else, it gives them some kind of direction. You have two star players or two star talents that actually have had a relationship in Ja and Zion that will probably, fit a lot better than, say, the counterparts or the co-stars that Ja's had on his side and Zion has had on his side. In theory, it sounds exciting. I'm still not the biggest Ja Morant fan, so I can't say that they're a championship contender, but I think it's a strong way to start off a new era if you're Joe Dumars. Yeah.
And Lito, I want you to talk about Jabari because you've been a fan of Jabari for a while now, but I have to drop this team out here because Henri just texted me, but a sleeper team for Giannis could be OKC. They have all the future draft picks, 35 selections over the next 7 years, 15 first round picks, 20 second round picks. That would be a team that would be, OKC can do whatever the hell they want.
I think it's possible, but at the same time, if you're the Bucks, do you want to be picking pick 19 in every draft? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so that you're muted, Chris.
You would have to what would they want? Every team is different. Some want a young prospect, a couple of picks, and salary flexibility. We would have to. It would be really good at some point to get a Milwaukee, journalist or someone who follows the team closely to really kind of see, because they need. I do agree with Chaz that there's nothing more valuable for them at this point than getting their own draft picks that will go along with whatever direction that they would, be going. But if it's just their draft capital, would they want a young, promising talent back? Would they want an established talent back? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, Lito, talk a little bit about Jabari just in Chaz's trade proposal, because I am interested here because I do think Milwaukee is going to move Giannis this offseason. Just looking at their team, at their future, they're really screwed. Especially Dame being out you got to think Dame's out for the next year, right? Achilles.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to be out again next year. That team is pretty damn old and not necessarily very good. So why would you we could talk Ja. We're going to talk Ja more on Sunday, but why do you like Jabari Smith for this team? Because we've mentioned Jabari's name a lot on this podcast, and why he might be a possibility for the Pelicans. But what do you like about Jabari, and what do you like about his fit around someone like a Zion and a Trey Murphy?
I like the spacing. I like the spacing of Jabari would provide to the team. You look at Jabari, I think he shot 35 from three this year, and he's shooting, I think, 5 attempts a game. So he's making about 2, you know what I'm saying, 2 1/3 of them. But if you look at the situation Jabari's in, kind of compare it to, I'm not, when I say this, I'm not saying he's as good as this person, but Evan Mobley before probably getting to play with Donovan and Darius, right? Like, you got a big who has a little bit of ball skill. Evan Mobley is a much better dribbler than Jabari, but being a big, you still need somebody to get you the basketball. He's in a situation where he has very ball dominant guards. There's not really anybody on that team other than Sengun who's looking to get anybody involved. Like, I like Fred. Fred does a decent job. I think Fred averages 4.5 to 5 assists a game. But when your point guards are so scoring heavy, it doesn't leave him a lot of room in that offense. And if you look at Jabari's role in that team, his shooting attempts has dropped every year. Every year they've come down. Now, the thing is, he's found a way to be efficient in those minutes. He's still averaging 12 points a game. He's shooting the ball, what, 9 times a game. Right. He still has his he's rebounding the ball, very well. I think that he could eventually provide decent rim protection. I don't think he's like an all NBA caliber defender or anything like that. The thing you got to look at here, though, he's 21 years old. He's 21. And I'm not comparing him to Missy or Carlo or any of those guys. But when you're talking about a prospect with still tremendous upside, I think you find a lot of buy-in there for Jabari.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, look, I think Jabari should be a target for the Pelicans. Go ahead, Chess.
Also, I would say this as well. To me, Jabari's at the 4. I'm still not starting Herb Jones. Like, I'm still getting a real center. Even if the center is Misi, it's just
Zion,
Trey, Jabari, and a center.
And a center with Misi, Herb coming off the bench, Reeves.
If Herb's here, yeah, cool. Herb coming off the bench. Misi, you still got Kelly Olynyk. You still got, Antonio Reeves. You got other options. But the most important thing is you're clearing money so you can sign, like, middle to lower tier free agents. Because truthfully, ain't no prime candidates coming to play with no Zion. Maybe they'll come play with Jai if Jai's available. Ain't nobody want to come play with Willie Green. Nobody really trying to come to New Orleans. Like, nobody really trying to come to the Pelicans. So that's the reason you take the risk for guys like a Jai or a Jabari who like got a high pedigree and upside, like Lito spoke of. Because for one, if you're trading Zion for Jai or Zion for Giannis or Zion for, I don't know, just Sagoon, anybody, it's not a 1-for-1 necessarily. Or even if you consider the 1-for-1, it's like, and then what? Like, you already saw the best version of Jai. You already saw the best version of Giannis. You already saw, well, I don't want to say Sagoon just yet, but you've seen the better version of these guys as the number one option on teams. And so far, it's minimum returns. So the only reason you even add a Jai or even consider a Giannis, who I'm probably a little lower on than most, or Sagoon, is to play with another high caliber player, right, versus you building around those players.
Justin, let me add this too. In the 57 games Jabari Smith played this year, 17 losses, he scored under 10 points. They got 40 wins when he scores over 13 points. So 40 wins, 8 rebounds, and he's shooting 36% from 3 in those. Also Also,
say someone look up the contract situation, Buku Henry, but go ahead.
He's
And
only
that-
at $12 million though.
yeah, that exactly. And that's another thing I was gonna say. He's averaging almost a block a game, and his value is it's in the trash. It's in the tank. Like this is the best time to get him.
Best time to get, and this kind of segues into my next talking point here, Chris, is the Milwaukee swap that the Pelicans own, right? So New Orleans has the right to swap its 2026 first round pick with Milwaukee's 2026 first round pick, right? And
That's
so
great.
Chaz made a really good point of there's no point of the Pelicans tanking, right? Like you don't want to be shitty, right? Like you want to now in retrospect, Milwaukee won't tank either, right? So do you think that the Pelicans should, take a look at the situation? Are they going to wait for this whole Giannis situation to play out and then, either hold on to the pick or make a trade with this pick? Like, how do you see this playing out over the next, I guess, year or so? Because the one thing that we hated about David Griffin, right, is he would have so many assets, but just hold on to them to where it was too late to move off of this stuff. And then it just, dematerialized and they weren't really as valuable as they could have been if he had moved them earlier. So I'm interested to see what Joe, what Dumars has now and what he's thinking with, okay, the Giannis situation, I have to monitor what they're doing. What is Milwaukee doing? Are they going to tank? Dame Lillard's out for a year. When is it the right time to hold on to that pick, or trade it?
I think the Pelicans would be smart to kind of, for once, them be the aggressive, them be the ones kind of moving a little bit earlier, anticipating what will ultimately happen. Whether or not Giannis is gone this offseason or we're talking about